Starship Troopers Extermination has been in early access for about 8 months. I'm going to go through some things that have been added or changed with updates, things I would like to see in the future, and then problems with the game, not necessarily in that order. So we're just going to get right into this. So first of all, the game has a lot of performance problems. It is very system heavy. I can hear my case fans spinning up. It definitely needs optimization. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are having problems with lag and just poor performance of the game. I haven't really encountered a lot of those issues, but it does lag for me sometimes, and that definitely needs to be addressed. There have been a few boring, quote-unquote boring updates that they've added. So there was no brightness slider before, now there is. I don't know why it wasn't there to begin with, but it's there now. It was added a while ago. And you can reduce or turn off screen shake with explosions, which is great because I am not a fan of screen shake in games. I don't need the whole screen to shake like I'm watching the movie Cloverfield. Anytime an explosion or something happens, I can see it, I can hear it. It's nice to be able to turn that off, which I do. So this brings me to the first big complaint that I have about this game, and team killing was a problem before. I think it still is a problem now. Maybe not as much of a problem. I honestly don't know. I was dealing with and seeing griefers in the game early on. This was months ago before they implemented any kind of system to deal with them. So I and a lot of people were hoping for a vote kick option. What happens now is if you kill enough players or do enough damage to players, you get marked as a traitor. You can't deal any more friendly fire damage. You can't receive any healing, and I think you can't use the building tool. And it's a 3-strike system. 2 kills, you get a warning. 3 kills, you're a traitor. And other players have to kill you, and then you get kicked from the game. And you lose match progression. And the other thing that happens is that you get banned from the server. Banning from the server is too much. Listen, accidents can happen, especially with explosive weapons. I'm imagining a scenario where you have a grenade launcher and there's 3 troopers who are low on health and they're surrounded by bugs, which, by the way, you can't see other players' health bars unless you have the health stim out, because you're trying to play a medic and you're close enough to players, then you can see their health bars, but otherwise you can't. So I've got my grenade launcher. 3 guys or girls or theys or whatever are surrounded by bugs. I want to help clear them out, and I accidentally kill all 3 of them, maybe, or kill a few of them, and I get a warning or something like that. Then all of a sudden, I'm a traitor. I get killed, lose the match progression, and I'm banned from the server. Simply because I was not trying to team kill, I was just trying to help out the other players. And now I'm banned from, like, US West Coast server. And that's how the servers are set up. This is not like a server list like multiplayer games of old, where you can go to the server section and connect to different games. This is US, West, Central, East, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, etc. You get banned from that region. So then you have to connect to a different region, and you have higher ping, which means more lag and a degraded playing experience. Do not ban people for this. Offworld, remove banning players from servers. It's enough to turn off the friendly fire and they lose the match points, or experience points. That's enough. Do not ban people from servers for this. And it doesn't happen over multiple matches. It's not like you play 5 matches where you're team killing people constantly or something like that. It's one match. It's right here in the update. It's one match. You do it once, you're done. You're out from that server, which is ridiculous. So that absolutely needs to be addressed, but let's move on to other things here. They have added a hive mode, which I've seen gameplay of it. I haven't played it because I'm not that interested in it. And it looks okay. It's a shorter mode. It takes about 10 minutes or so. And you're moving through tunnels to find bug hives and blow them up. And it seems a bit too simplistic to me. The way it looks is that you walk down a corridor, killing bugs, show up to a big room, blow up the eggs, which you plant a nuclear explosive and blow it up that way. Or, from what I'm reading, you can use a grenade launcher or C4 to blow up the hive. You don't have to have the nuclear detonator. And then you walk down another corridor to another hive room and do the same thing whatever number of times you need to complete the mode. I know that there are multiple layouts for this mode for the map, but adding multiple paths that you can take to the hive on every map would be great. Adding side objectives or events that can add wrinkles and challenge to the mode would be interesting. Like I said, adding the multiple paths that have different events that you can do, or missions that you can do to make eliminating the hive easier or something like that. Maybe add, like, I don't know, tunnel collapses. Part of your team gets trapped on one side of the tunnel and they have to find a way around or something like that. And I think the player count should be increased to 8. It's currently 4. I think adding 4 more so that it's 8 would be a little bit better, especially if you're gonna do multiple paths and have like a bigger map. Yeah, I think that those things could be added. They've got a good base for this mode, but after watching a few videos of it, I don't really feel that interested in playing it because there's just not enough variety, it seems like. So this brings me to the Hive Hunt mission type, which you can get in the Arc mode. I don't know if you can get this in the Horde mode, but it is essentially the same thing as the Hive mode, the completely separate mode where you show up, you can either use a nuclear explosive to blow up the eggs like you saw there, or I think you can just shoot it or use a grenade launcher or C4 or whatever to blow up the hive, and then that's it. It's not really involved. There's not anything else to do. You just walk over there, blow it up, and then leave. I would like to see more to it. I don't know exactly what they can do, but more than walking over there, clicking a button, and that's it. You're done. There are, of course, some problems with glitches, people getting stuck inside of structures. From what I've experienced, they're usually pretty good at allowing the player to phase out of the structure, but sometimes they get stuck anyway.
Can I hit?
Check my check, say that again.
No, hold up.
Oh yeah, he is stuck.
Could you space bar a little bit? Could you deconstruct it a little bit, just to drop it, and then reconstruct it after? I got it. Alright, good job. Yep, now reconstruct. There you go.
Another thing that I noticed about the bugs is that they tend to jump around a lot when you shoot them, so they won't just be standing there and get, damaged and die or whatever. A lot of the time you'll shoot at a bug and it's like they've been hit by knockback, because they shift far to the left and right, and they're very jumpy and move around a lot like that. It's very weird. I don't know why it happens, but it's something that needs to be looked at. They're jumping around too much when you shoot them. In addition to bugs jumping around on the ground erratically when you shoot them, they sometimes fly into the air as well. This one happened at the end of the game. There, you can see here on the right hand side, multiple bugs fly up into the air, but it happens in the middle of games as well. I don't know why that is. But it does happen, and there they go. There's 3 of them flying up there. So that's something that needs to be looked at. I'm not sure why that's happening. The developer Offworld has added a new map a while ago called Agni Prime. It's very visually different. There's like a lava river in here. There's other pools of lava. There's fire everywhere. It looks really nice. I like this map. And there are bug variants of the warrior bugs, and I think other bugs too, that are fire resistant. So when they walk through the pools of lava, they don't take as much damage. Or if you have a napalm grenade and try to use it on them, they won't take as much damage. So I do like this map. However, one of the enemies that they added, which I like this bug, it's called the Inferno bug, but there are times, and not just on Agni Prime, but on Valaka as well, on that map, where... I should mention, the Inferno bugs don't show up on Valaka, they only show up here. But in every map, there are times when, even with mutators on, there are a lot of Inferno bugs and grenadiers and I forget what they're called, the hunter bug, not the hunter bugs, the ones that shoot from a distance, where a lot of those spawn in at once, and your base is getting hammered with Inferno bugs and grenadiers, and like everything is on fire and exploding. And I've mostly been playing on hard mode, but even then, it's just a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. I think what they should do is they should... Well, you can do a number of things. You can either reduce the amount of damage that Inferno bugs do, reduce the fire rates, or maybe just reduce the number that can spawn in at once, because or with tigers as well. Sometimes you just get inundated with so many of these things, and it can be a little bit unfair. So I think the difficulty with that needs to be adjusted a little bit, even with mutators. And speaking of mutators, that is a thing that has been added to the game. There can be mutators that either affect the players. So, for instance, there might be the mutator called Pitch Black, which means that the mission takes place at night. We'll circle back around to that in a minute. You could have a mutator where you get a random loadout or something like that. And I think there's one for a sandstorm, which reduces visibility on the Valaka map. Or there's enemy mutators. You can have both in a match. But there's enemy mutators where, say, more tiger bugs spawn, or bugs do more damage, or they move faster, or whatever it is. So they add little bits of variety to the game modes. And man, if you get a bunch of really difficult mutators in one mode, which can happen, it can get really hard. I like the mutators. The complaint that I have, well, 2 complaints. If you get a really bad combination of mutators, you're in for a really rough time. And I think the bigger complaint that I have is that the timer is too long waiting for new mutators. They roll over into new mutators every hour, which I think it's way too long to wait an hour for new mutators. I think that should be lowered by like half, at least. An hour just seems way too long. And I get that if you join a game in the Arc mode, those modes take longer. They can take 45 minutes to an hour to do the mode. And I guess maybe the idea is that by the time you're done with one match and you connect to another one, the mutators have rolled over and now you can play another game with new mutators or something like that. But if you change it to 30 minutes or less or something like that, that's perfectly fine, I think, and it would be better. And I've noticed a number of times because I've been trying to get the pitch black mutator so I can play at night. And I'll wait for the mutators to roll over, and then the new roll has no mutators. None. So I just sat around for the last few minutes before the mutators roll over, and I get none. And I've been trying multiple days this week to try to get that night mode mutator, because one of the complaints is that it's very, very dark at night and hard to see. You do automatically have flashlights on all of your guns so you can see, but it's still really dark in the base and in the immediate area around the base. And supposedly what Offworld has done is they've added I guess it's a mission where you can go pick up a crate with light poles, and then you can bring those back. You plant them down like you do the scan beacon or the heal beacon, and it gives off light, which is fine. But really what they should do is they should, if you're playing in night mode, add floodlights to all of the buildings, to walls, inside and out, bunkers on all sides, towers. Any sort of structure should have floodlights on every side so that inside and outside the base is illuminated and you can actually see what you're doing. A couple other miscellaneous things that I want to mention, and then we'll get to a Q&A post that I just want to breeze through and mention some highlights of. A couple other miscellaneous things. I do think the threat and challenge level, on hard mode at least, is generally pretty good, other than getting really walloped by certain types of enemies, and a lot of them all at once. I absolutely want to see more bug variety. I know they said they're going to add more bug types. There's the brain bug, there's like a queen bug, I think there's new types of bugs that got introduced in sequels to Starship Troopers. There's a couple of Starship Troopers movies. I've only seen the first one, but I know there's many different types of bugs. There's quite a few number of planets that you can go to. I think the bug homeworld is like a jungle planet, and there's some other ones. I would love to see all of that in the game. So hopefully they add as much as possible with the bugs and the planets and that kind of stuff. One last glitch that I noticed is that sometimes I'll be in the middle of a game and music will start playing really loud, like the I forget if it's the intro music when you first land, or I think maybe it's the extraction music, or the music that plays in arc mode when the bug horde starts to show up. That music will play even when you're not, the bugs aren't attacking. You haven't started the arc and are expecting bugs to come in. I don't know why it happens, but it plays very loud. I believe someone in game told me that if you go to the settings and turn the music slider all the way down, it will shut it off, but it's still a problem that it plays at random like that. Not sure why that's happening, but that needs to be looked at. So, there have been 2 Q&As that I'm looking at, one from November of 2023 and one from January of 2024. And the first thing, major thing that's going to happen in the future is that the 3 classes will no longer exist. They are being split into 6. So the Hunter, Bastion, and Operator as you know them will no longer exist. And experience you have gained unlocking weapons and items will be gone. I know for some people that's upsetting. You're losing all your progress, which this does not affect skins or decals or anything like that for the troopers. Those will stay there. But this is early access. It's an unfinished game. Everything is subject to change. I know that going in, so it doesn't bother me. I hope you understand that as well. The new 6 classes will be Sniper, Demolisher, Guardian, Engineer, Medic, and Ranger. I support this. 6 classes is better than 3, and you can specialize more. The weapon mastery system is another thing that will be added to the game in the future, as well as custom loadouts. Hopefully, with the weapon mastery, it says you can adjust the stats. I'm hoping that means you can add like a red dot sight if you want to. You can adjust the barrel, the magazine, the muzzle, you know, that sort of thing, and really make the weapons your own and function in the way that you want them to. By the way, I want to mention, because I'm just noticing this now, the gameplay that I'm using here, I know that I have a flashlight on and it looks dark. This is not as dark as it gets with the pitch black mutator. So I didn't see any of the light poles, the crates show up or anything here. I mean, it wouldn't because it's not the pitch black mutator. But this is not as dark as the game gets. This is not technically nights. I'm using air quotes, night. This is like twilight. Anyway, let's get back to the Q&A. The developer has talked about adding, or is going to add, more resources other than the ore and gas that you use in order to build the base. The ore is what's used to make all the buildings. The gas is what's used to start up the Ark, if you're doing the Ark mode, which I would love to see more resources. You can spread people out and get them going on different missions. Would love to see special buildings, like I could imagine an armory, for instance. If you're not satisfied with your loadout, you can go to the armory and change which gun you're using, or change the grenade that you're using, or something like that. But it would require a special resource that you have to go get, not ore. I could also imagine a building like a, I don't know, like a radio tower or something like that, where you use that to call in an orbital strike and make the cooldown long so it's not being abused. But then once the cooldown is ready, somebody goes over, they get one of those, I see them in Call of Duty games, where you'll have the airstrike and they've got that like little red dot like clicker thing or whatever. You can go up on top of the wall, point to where you want the airstrike to be, you know, click with the little red dot, and then the airstrike comes in and kills the bugs in that area, and then you have to wait for the cooldown. But I would love to see specialized buildings like that and other stuff that I'm not even thinking of right now. They are expanding the Hive Hunt mode with a mini boss and more weapon and item variety, which is great, along with new things in the future, I'm sure, but this is a good start. Offworld will be adding deep learning super sampling DLSS from NVIDIA and fidelity super resolution FSR from AMD. Both of those are just fancy ways to make your game look nicer. Basically what it does is it takes whatever resolution that you're rendering the game at and upscales it to a higher resolution and makes the game look better. So you don't have to crank up the actual render resolution on your game for what you're running. DLSS or FSR will upscale it and make it look nicer. So that's basically all it is. Now, Offworld, listen to me. The next update, and the next few updates actually, should be optimization. If you keep adding more content, but the game runs poorly and crashes for players, that is going to turn away current and future players in droves. I've seen this mistake made with other devs. Clean up what you've got, and then you can add more. And then we have the Galactic War metagame, which I will throw up a few screenshots here from the press release on the company's website that shows you what they're imagining the UI for this metagame would look like. So there would be seasonal campaigns on different planets, and they have specific missions, whether it be Horde mode or Hive Hunt or the Ark or what is it called? AAS, what is it? Advance, Attack, Advance, Secure, something like that. And they'll have different mutators and stuff like that. You can go on those specific missions. I don't know if you'll get like an XP bonus for doing those or something like that. They've talked about adding clans, or what they're calling companies, where we can join those in-game and go on missions and things like that. So these are all things that I really like. I like this idea and expanding that more. I do hope that it's more than one planet at a time. In one of the screenshots I have here, it just shows Volaka. It doesn't show that you have an option for other planets. So I'm hoping that there's multiple planets that you can go through. You can do campaigns on whatever planet that you want to do. So I've covered a lot of things here. I have a whole lot of optimism for this game. I know it has issues. They need to be addressed with the optimization and glitches and stuff like that. But I'm very hopeful for the future of this game. They have a lot planned. They're consistently putting out updates and news and keeping people informed about what's going on. So I'm looking forward to the future of this game. It can go a lot of places with weapons and new weapon types and new bug types and new planets and mechanics and all this kind of stuff. So if you were thinking about getting this game, I still wouldn't buy it yet, but I would wishlist it and keep an eye on it. Make sure you subscribe here. I will keep you updated on how this game is going. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.